power is strange because it does not announce itself. Sometimes it sits quietly observing, waiting for the exact moment to matter. That is what I learned on the day my world shifted forever. My name is Joyce Romero, and I am 38 years old. That day at Charles Airport in Paris, everything shattered in seconds. We had flown in as a family hoping to fix cracks after my divorce. I had helped fund the trip heavily. But at the check-in counter, the fight erupted fast. I refused to send more money home. I was prioritizing my savings for the first time. They turned on me instantly, calling me selfish, unstable, a source of worry. My sister had my phone and charger. My mom had my passport to handle documents. When they collected their boarding passes and headed to security, I realized my return ticket was gone. They had canceled it coldly, saying I could figure things out on my own. Without a backward glance, they disappeared. I was frozen, heart pounding, realizing I had been set up. No phone, no boarding pass, no way to follow. Security told me to leave. That is when he approached a stranger impeccably dressed. He whispered, "Pretend you are my wife, my driver is about to arrive." Then he added, "Trust me, they will regret this." I had no idea how right he was. In that moment, I gripped his hand and followed him out. The limousine glided through darkened streets. My mind raced. The driver remained silent. The man beside me stared ahead before speaking. I suppose introductions are in order. Alexander Hayes, 42. I run a real estate group in New York. I nodded. Joyce Romero, 38. Thank you for whatever this is. He gave a slight smile. I saw you at the help desk. You were trying to fix it yourself. Most people would have broken down completely. He leaned back. Exactly. Resourceful. That is why I stepped in. In a couple of weeks, I have a major charity gala in New York. It is where I close a big development deal with conservative partners. They value stability tradition. A widowed man in his early 40s, still grieving, makes them nervous. He needs a partner for the event, someone believable, not an actress. You handled yourself well under pressure, he repeated. That is rare. The car slowed as we approached a private terminal. Alexander outlined the deal. You play the role for the gala. I provided jet secure housing in Manhattan, 50,000 cash, a new phone, and help uncover your family. 50,000 was more than I had saved, but I was cautious. The agreement included confidentiality. My identity stays protected, I said. Deal. He extended his hand. We shook as the limousine stopped at the hangar. A sleek jet waited. We boarded quickly. The cabin, luxurious plush seats, dim lighting. Exhaustion hit me finally. When the jet touched down in New York, a discreet car met us driving straight into the city. We arrived at a high-rise. Elena Morales, my housekeeper, showed me to a guest suite. The room felt like a sanctuary, soft lighting, crisp sheets, view of the city distant. I showered and changed into comfortable clothes. The new phone Alexander provided sat on the nightstand, fully charged. I called Diane Russell, my cousin. She said your parents are filing for temporary conservatorship. They're targeting your Manhattan condo. I realized this was calculated, building on vulnerabilities to twist the narrative. I asked Diane to forward everything. She sent screenshots, drafts, emails. I handed the phone to Alexander. He said, this is sophisticated and New York conservatorships are rare but possible if incapacity is shown. We need to counter this fast. Martin Coleman, the best for asset protection, will file opposition papers. We gathered financial records, medical records, affidavits from colleagues. The first steps of defense were underway. The gala planning kicked into high gear. Spreadsheets, vendor contracts covered the table. I did not wait to be asked. I asked about program timelines. I noticed overlaps, keynote speakers, too close, risking delays. Move the auction segment earlier, energizes the crowd before dinner. The coordinated. I restructured guest seating, putting rival developers apart, grouping potential partners together. Alexander watched silently, noting the change. Sponsors emailed concerns, citing whispers about Alexander's stability. I reviewed the thread, drafted a response acknowledging history and highlighting solid projections. The sponsor replied positively within hours. Alexander pulled me aside. You're making yourself indispensable. I said, Good, because I'm not here to stand pretty. He looped me into every decision. I handled reception area layout, walking the venue myself, mapping flow, avoiding bottlenecks, placing signature displays. Coordinating with lighting, I insisted on warmer tones for cocktail hour, cooler spotlights during speeches to keep energy focused. Alexander opened up, admitting a recent investment flop. He said Nathan is using it to question my ability to lead. I leaned forward, pulled projections for next quarter highlight corrections. He incorporated my suggestions into the board update. We rehearsed public appearances together, making them casual and natural. I handled vendor escalations, negotiating with florists, catering, and dietary requests personally. Alexander deferred to my calls, trusting instincts honed from years managing events. The night before the gala, I ran a final walkthrough checklist in hand, every detail. Aligned signage position, perfectly, tech rehearsals, contingency plans locked. Back at the penthouse, I tried on the gown, elegant navy silk that fit perfectly. I caught my reflection, the woman staring back, moved with purpose, eyes sharp. Work had pulled me from survival mode into strength. Tomorrow was not just Alexander's test, it was mine. The grand ballroom buzzed, cameras flashing as we entered. We moved together seamlessly, his hand lightly at my back, my smile genuine enough to pass scrutiny. Guests mingled under crystal chandeliers. Champagne flutes clinking, string quartet playing softly. Everything aligned until midway through cocktails, Alexander's phone vibrated. A tabloid republished old rumors about instability post-widowhood, quoting anonymous sources. Nathan timed it perfectly to give him more ammunition. The PR team sent a firm denial. I noticed Harlan Reed, conservative investor from Texas, pulling back conversation, turning polite but distant. I excused myself, glass in hand. Mr. Reed, I said smoothly, Joyce Hayes handling event coordination and project details. I know the article stirred questions here. Our projections, revised occupancy forecasts, risk mitigation measures. He absorbed the slides, these corrections, not public yet, but real. He said, fair points, let's talk specifics after auction. The auction surged, energy bidding escalated, applause filled the room. By dessert, Harlan signed the contract, including oversight clauses. A compromise, but it closed. In the car, Alexander exhaled. That article nearly killed the deal, I said. But it did not. He looked at me, you saved it. No, I said, we did. The car ride back from the gala was quiet. The city lights streaked past Manhattan, glowing like nothing had happened. Alexander loosened his tie. Slowly, Nathan won't stop. He said tonight slowed him, but it did not end anything. I nodded. My parents will not stop either. He turned toward me. I need something stronger, something undeniable on paper. He meant marriage. 1 year contractual, it shuts down questions about judgment, weakens Nathan's case immediately. I already knew where this was going. Marriage, I said quietly. Yes, he said. He did not dress it up. No emotion, 1 year contract, $300,000. Continued professional role. Full legal protection for assets, including the condo. I stared out the window, processing. Marriage had failed. Me once, family had failed me longer, and now I considered a legal bond not built on love but strategy. Terms, I asked. Exit clause, anytime, no questions. I control my public image. No disclosures without consent. I added conditions. I don't take his name unless I choose. I keep my identity. Ends cleanly. He nodded, agreed. The car pulled into the garage. No celebration, just handshake waiting to happen. That night, I paced, replaying everything: the airport, the phone call, the gala. I realized independence sometimes requires choosing a structure that protects you. Martin Coleman arrived the next morning with draft documents, clear language, clean boundaries. Mutual benefit, no romance clauses. Just protection at City Hall, a few. Days later, we signed, our hands steady. This was not surrender, it was armor. Leaving the building, Alexander asked, You okay? Yes, I said. For the first time, I was choosing not being chosen. A quiet morning in the Hamptons, the house back from the beach, glass walls. Reflecting pale blue, I was reviewing layouts for the resort project. Then the doorbell rang, insistent Elena appeared. Your parents and sister, they are here, Alexander stood. I'll stay out of sight. This is your fight. I walked to the door. Robert Romero stepped inside, first my father straight-backed. Controlled my mother, lips tight. Angela, last conflicted. They had come not to reconcile, but to take control. You have gone. Too far, my father said. You disappeared in Europe. Mother added, suddenly married to a stranger. Do you realize how unstable that looks? I crossed my arms. Unstable, I said, is canceling someone's ticket, abandoning them without documents. The room, thick with tension, my mother said, we're helping. You're being manipulated. This man is using you for legal gain. I gestured toward Martin. My lawyer is here. Where is yours? Martin stepped forward. The petition lacks sufficient evidence under new York law. My father stiffened. You were protecting her assets. No, I said, you were trying to control them. Angela finally spoke. We did not mean this to go this far. Dad said it was the only way to make you see reason. I looked at her. You took my phone. Mom took my passport. You walked away. That was deliberate. Robert stepped forward. Enough. Come home, withdraw petition, sign over condo. Here's my offer, I said. Withdraw immediately, issue public statement acknowledgement. I will not pursue counterclaims. For fraud or emotional distress, my mother scoffed. You would not sue family. Try me, I said. The door closed behind them. No apology, no reconciliation, just loss of leverage. The court did not dramatize. It was just facts on paper. Martin called the petition dismissed, insufficient evidence. The judge noted the filing appeared motivated by asset concerns, not welfare. Relief washed over me, not joy. Confirmation that I had never been unstable. Confirmation that instincts were right. Confirmation that control was disguised as concern. No penalties, but public record mattered. Words spread quickly. My parents lost standing. Invitations disappeared. Angela's professional reputation took subtle hits, quite persistent, inevitable. A week later, an email arrived from Angela. Subject, I'm sorry. She wrote about guilt, about realizing too late her silence enabled the plan. I read it twice, then closed it. Forgiveness is optional. Healing does not require reconciliation. Closure does not require conversation. Sometimes peace comes from choosing not to reopen a door. Even as Alexander's legal battle ended, Nathan's claims unraveled, contract ended, 1 year clean exit. No drama. Standing at City Hall, dissolving the marriage, no resentment, no regret, just respect. Once the legal noise faded, silence, no more emergencies, no deadlines, no emotional landmines, I launched my own event planning firm. Not impulsively, strategically, starting small. Leveraging gala relationships, 1 referral became 2, 2 became 5. Corporate launches, nonprofit fundraisers, private events where discretion mattered as much as execution. The work felt familiar. I was finally being myself without apology. The Manhattan condo became home in professional space, neutral tones, open. Layouts like clients commented on. Calm attracts trust. Bookings filled months in advance. Reviews followed. Reliable, composed, unflappable. Alexander called once, asking help organizing a company retreat. We walked the beach. You built something. Solid, he said. So did you? I replied, no tension, no nostalgia, just mutual respect. Betrayal hurts more when it comes from family. It breaks trust and expectation. I'd assumed my family would protect me when they abandoned me in Paris and tried to control my assets. Illusion shattered. Betrayal gives clarity, seeing people as their strength, learning that your decisions matter. Autonomy, realizing you can define your path. Storms reveal who can swim. I could have crumbled. I did not. That made all the difference. Cutting ties is strategy, not weakness. I did not need to hate. I did not need revenge. I needed distance to protect life and build something meaningful. The firm thrived. The condo transformed. Relationships were chosen. Every decision. Mine. Freedom is earned, forged in fire. Letters of apology arrive years later. Forgiveness optional. Peace is choosing yourself. My worth does not depend on anyone. You define it, you protect it, you grow from it. Standing on the terrace looking at the ocean, I understood the true inheritance of betrayal. Not loss, not grief, but the freedom to rise stronger on my own terms. Let U.S. recap. Betrayal exposed manipulation. Stepping into opportunity created leverage. Strategic decisions create armor. Confrontation reveals truth. Freedom is a foundation, not the end. Walking away builds strength. Sometimes the most important inheritance is the ability to say no and define your life. Your value is not defined by those who betray you. Your freedom is not dependent on anyone trying to control you. Your life is yours to build without apology. Standing on the terrace, looking at the ocean, I realized the true inheritance: freedom, autonomy, self-worth, the choice to live life on my own terms, the strength to walk away, the clarity to know what matters. Power and freedom are different things. Power does not always protect you. Freedom is the ability to decide who you allow in your life and who you do not. People often think inheritance is money, property, or titles. It is not. Inheritance is freedom. Knowledge, the power to define your own life, even when those closest try to control it. Betrayal teaches the hardest lessons. It hurts most when it comes from family. It breaks trust and expectation I spent decades assuming my family would protect. Me when they abandoned me in Paris and later tried to manipulate my assets, the illusion shattered. But betrayal also gives clarity, seeing people for who they truly are. Strength, learning that your decisions matter. Autonomy, realizing you can define your path regardless of pressure or expectations. Storms reveal who can swim. I could have crumbled. I did not. That made all the difference. Walking away is not weakness. It is strategy. It is choosing yourself over control. It is protecting your life. And your energy. I did not need to hate. I did not need revenge. I just needed distance to build something meaningful. My event planning firm thrived. I reclaimed the condo, transforming it into a professional and personal sanctuary. Relationships were chosen, not inherited. Every decision became mine fully, unapologetically. Freedom is earned, sometimes forged in fire. Forgiveness is optional. Healing does not require reconciliation. Closure does not require conversation. Sometimes peace comes from choosing not to reopen doors. Standing on the terrace, looking at the ocean, I understood the true inheritance of betrayal. Not loss, not grief, but the freedom to rise stronger on your own terms, freedom to pursue your ambitions, to protect your peace, to surround yourself with people who respect you, knowing when to walk away and building stronger on the other side. Family trust can fracture beyond repair, but self-worth does not depend on bloodlines. Cutting ties is not loss, it is liberation. The ability to define your value, chase your ambitions without apology, and protect your life is the real inheritance. Your life is yours. Your value is yours. Your peace is yours. Build wisely, guard fiercely, walk away if necessary, but never forget. You have the power to rise stronger than before.